we're going to get into our rookie grades. Then we're going to get into some hot takes, and we're getting into our surprises and disappointments for the year. So we're first going to get started with these rookie grades. So let me do this real quick. There we go. So, all right, sure. There we go. All right, so number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to go with a C. He was pretty abysmal this year, but you do look at the situation around him and you can understand it at points. But I don't know what happened. He just didn't look great.
Yeah, I was saying it since the start, man. The hype was going to get to him with Urban Meyer head coach and that team. There was no way to succeed. I'd give him like a C plus at best. Probably the place where I'd probably place him is probably a C minus. Just did not live up to the hype. His college days are over. He's got to figure out how to win in the fucking NFL, and that's just how it is.
If he was in a better situation, he still played this bad, it would be near like D and F. But you gotta know he has the talent. It's just I don't know. We'll see next year. I think next year
head coach.
Big year. Yeah, that was a big reason. But yeah.
No, I think a C is perfect for him, honestly, because he still hasn't proved anything. We're being real. Like, yeah, he has talent, but has he really proved that he does?
Yeah.
Like, I think we'll see a lot next year as long as they don't like hire another Urban Meyer. They can hire a decent coach.
John Harbaugh, question mark?
We'll see.
I'm going C minus for Lawrence, honestly. Like,
so we all agree around that.
Yeah, obviously, like, he's in a terrible situation, but from what I've seen from him, it just hasn't impressed me whatsoever.
Yeah, he's been not very good. And like you watch the games and you see the receivers and they're just not very good, but he's also not doing himself a favor. I remember there was a play against someone where he threw a ball like off his back foot, running from no pressure at all. He had a clean pocket. That's not you get often with Jacksonville. He had a clean pocket. He ran away. He threw it off his back foot, and then the receiver dropped it. It was weird. It's just I don't know. I think he's trying to do more than he's trying or he needs to. He just needs to play within himself, and then he'll be good. I mean, that's what he did at Clemson. So yeah, it's gonna be an important year for Trevor Lawrence next year.
Yeah, I think he's got to get used to not having a Clemson wide receiver core. I mean, they got Djax, They got some good receivers. They have a pretty decent tight end. Their O-line's awful, but I think he can just work in the offseason. They got to make some offseason plays if they want to be like an even team or even like a 5-6 win team if they want to like push something good next year. Because I don't see anything promising from him yet, but I can definitely see some sparks from what he had at Clemson compared to what he has now. There's definitely an opportunity for him to succeed in the NFL, and he's just got to like break through.
And there's guys like Calvin Ridley on the market, or you go get a receiver in the second round like a Jahan Dotson, John Mechie if he declares. And there is points where you can get talent. Maybe you go in the first round, you trade down out of the number 1 pick. I don't know what they want to do. But there's talent at the receiver position. You just got to go find it. And you're getting Travis Etienne back next year, who is supposed to play a hybrid running back wide receiver role. And obviously James Robinson's not going to be benched because Urban Meyer's a dumbass. So I think there's a real improvement we'll see from him next year. But you can't place him any higher than a C minus because of what you've seen. All right, number 2, Zach Wilson. We have a Jets fan in the building. Zach Wilson, in my opinion, gets a C plus. And before his injury, he was abysmal. He was terrible. But after his injury, the whole Jets started to have fun, and he looked way better. His mechanics got better, his stats got better, and his throws got better. And it looked like it started against the Miami Dolphins. He just looked better, like in all aspects. So I give him a C plus because of the strong finish he had, and especially against that game against the Bucs, where they led like basically the whole game and they made Antonio Brown quit. I really think that Zach Wilson deserves a C plus. I think he was really good this year, or really good at the end of the year. He finished strong, and that's what you want out of a rookie quarterback. You don't want to see him go down. You want to see him go up, and that's what Zach Wilson did.
I agree. I totally agree. I think C plus or even a B minus at best. Near the end of the season, he was performing at that level. I think every rookie quarterback's got to get through that first hump of the first 4 to 5 weeks of just getting the pace of the game down. Every quarterback in college is used to the fast-paced, quick-scoring games, and now you got to get used to bigger, better defensive ends coming at you. And I think I think near the end of the season, he was picking that up. He was getting used to it, and I like the way he performed near the end of the season after the injury. I like what you said about the Dolphins game. I think he actually was having fun out there, where he didn't care about the record at that point. He was playing to play, and that's kind of how it was near the end of the season. And that's something you like to see out of a rookie quarterback, just kind of getting right with his team, getting used to the players, and just getting used to the game in general. I think he has a good future coming up, honestly.
Honestly, I'm right with both of you guys right now. At first, until probably up to the Dolphins game, I've had him at a C minus or a C. Lately, I would even put him at a B. Just lately, overall in the season, definitely a B minus or a C plus. He's, like y'all said, he has the confidence now to be a good young quarterback. I don't think he's ever going to be on the Mahomes and Rodgers level, but he's definitely going to be a good quarterback if he keeps it up.
Personally, watching Zach Wilson all year grow from the first game against Carolina to now, I give him at least a B, simply because ever since he came back from the injury, he's on such a different level than he started at. He's completing these tough throws. The run he had against the Jaguars, 52 yards, that was insane. He's showing he used left too, and he's just looked a lot more accurate and more patient in the pocket, and I truly believe he's going to be our quarterback for a long time.
He got better in every aspect of the game, and so if you're looking for a whole season aspect, he was definitely a C plus, C minus. But towards the end, we all said, he was way better. And in that Bucs game, I'd give him an A minus. He played that well in that game. They didn't win it, but you're playing against Tom Brady. So I really think Zach Wilson impressed me. After so many memes about him in the early season, he had that 4 interception game against New England, which some of those weren't his fault, but it still doesn't look good. It's just it's really impressive to see what he did, and I think if he keeps on this upward trajectory, he could be a top 10 quarterback in the league. He's got that talent, and he makes some of those crazy throws, like that one against Tennessee. What was it, week 2, week 3, week 4, somewhere around there? Week 4. That was insane. It's just you see those high point moments, and then you also see the low point moments. And for a good thing for Zach Wilson, his was at the end of the season where you see the high points. Trevor Lawrence, on the other hand, his was at the low, or was at the whole season, but mostly at the end of the season where he had 0 touchdowns in 8 games or something like that. It was bad. So, yeah, I think we all agree around C plus, B minus, somewhere around there. Trey Lance, I'm going to give an incomplete grade. He's played 1 game. He looked all right in that game.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not much to talk about there. So, if y'all have thoughts, then let me know, but there's not much to talk about.
I think overall, in the next couple of years, there's not really much to say about him right now. So I can't really go off my evaluation so far, but just prediction, I still feel like he's going to be the most successful out of the rookie quarterbacks, because just the Niners situation, I think, is not bad at all.
Yeah.
Where the Jaguars and Jets are still rebuilding. The Bears, I don't know where they're going. I think he might be in the best situation, which is what a lot of people said when he got drafted. So, in the next year, if he's starting, he could be balling out.
Yeah, I totally agree. I see a little bit of Lamar Jackson, a little bit of Kyler Murray inside of him. I think he's got that. I think he's got the poise in the pocket. I really like the way he runs the ball. I really like the way he handles the snaps and the way that he can maneuver through his O-line. I think he has the brightest future so far. Yet I haven't seen enough, but I think give him a year at start. Put Jimmy G on the back burners and let him run a couple games. I think he'll impress a lot of people. I think obviously it'll take a couple games, but I think he will be a big impress for a lot of people who are kind of doubting him and the Niners in general. He's got Debo, he's got an insane O-line, he's got Juicy Juice in the backfield at fullback, he's got Raheem Mostert, he's got all these great players around him that he can utilize to his potential. And I think he's going to come out and do that next season if they give him an opportunity. I bet he plays 5-6 games.
Yeah, the rumors are that they're moving on from Jimmy G after this season. So I think that would be for the best. I mean, you guys see what you have. I'm gonna bring this in the Dolphins. That's what the Dolphins did. They put Tua in to see what they had in Tua. You can't wait. I mean, guys got to develop, but you can't wait another year on this guy because you've got to see what you have in him. Because if he's not it, then you can't just rely on him to be there. If he's not it, you can't just be telling yourself, "Oh, we're gonna give Jimmy G this year and then let Trey Lance play next year." If he's not it, you have to go. The quarterback's the most important position. You have to go find out if he's your guy or not. And if they don't start him next year, then I don't really think that's very good management. And you might have to start looking at a new head coach. Even though people love Kyle Shanahan, if he doesn't play Trey Lance next year, he's either not ready or it's very, very bad team management.
When we had the number 2 pick, I either wanted to take Zach Wilson or Trey Lance. I knew both of these guys have insane arm talent, and they can both run the ball very well. And I think, like what's his name said, there's a great fit. Once he gets the opportunity, he has to show that he's the guy, and it comes down to that.
Yeah. All right, getting to the 4th pick, Falcons, Kyle Pitts. I'm gonna give this an A. He's been very good this year. He doesn't have many touchdowns, but his yardage is good. The Falcons are playing through him, especially with the absence of Calvin Ridley. He's proven that he is what he is, and he's going to be a dominant tight end in this league to come. You watch him in these crazy catches that you see on the NFL Instagram, and everything that he was said he was going to be, he was in his rookie year. And I think he's one of the few tight ends that have gotten 1,000 yards in the rookie year. So Kyle Pitts is an easy A to me.
I agree. I mean, I wouldn't put him anything higher than an A. I cannot put that man in an A+ just yet after looking at the rest of the rookies we had this year. But I think he really showed out this year, especially with Matty Ice thrown to him with the loss of Calvin Ridley. No Julio Jones. They had a very slim wide receiver and receiving core in general. And I think he picked up the pace a lot. Not a whole lot of touchdowns, but they found their way into the end zone a couple of times. I mean, he definitely showed out. He's got the hands to prove what he can do. And I think in the next coming years, he can definitely be in them top 5 talks with tight ends, maybe even top 3, depending on who leaves, who comes. I see a lot of hope in him. I like that. A is a perfect place for him right now.
There's only like 5 rookies I would give an A+ to right now. Like looking at the list, there's only 5 rookies I'd give an A+ to, and I just don't think Kyle Pitts is there quite yet.
I agree.
I can't say too much about Kyle Pitts because I honestly did not really watch many Falcons games. When you look at the touchdowns, it's like, okay, not that good, but like the yardage is good, and then obviously the couple of highlights. I think Chloe said it best. Like you see it on the NFL Instagram. Like he makes like some crazy catches. I didn't even know he was at 1,000 yards. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like that's really good. I had him at A-, but A- or an A is perfect for him.
I think he's just under 1,000. He's gonna hit 1,000 by the end of the year, though.
Got it.
Yeah, I got an A for Kyle Pitts. He's been the entire Atlanta offense all year. He makes like you said, those insane one-handed catches like almost every other game. And if they can get some other pieces on that Atlanta offense, they're going to be filthy. So A for Kyle Pitts seems right for me.
All right, the 5th pick is the first A+ of the video. Jamar Chase, he was absolutely stellar and capped it off with that amazing game against the Chiefs. What thing about Jamar Chase, he was my wide receiver too, but it wasn't very far off between the 3 of Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase, and Devonta Smith. Jamar Chase did every concern I had about him. He proved me wrong in his first NFL season, which that earns an A+ right away for me. But you see what he was able to do against the Ravens. Yes, they were some point depleted, but you see what he does against the Chiefs. You see what he does to these corners, and he was just fantastic. He was a top 8, top 7, top 5 receiver this year. But the thing about it is when I watched him at LSU, he didn't necessarily look like he was like all that. Like he was fast, obviously. I'm not saying he was slow, but he didn't look like he was going to be as fast as he's looked so far in the NFL. And it's scary to see what he could become in the next couple of years with Joe Shiesty. But yeah, first A+ to the video goes to Jamar Chase. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think Jamar Chase showed out this year. I think he's been the best draft prospect of the year, honestly. I mean, there's a couple I think there's a couple players that could fight for that, Micah Parsons, Kyle Pitts even, but I really enjoyed watching Jamar Chase this year. I think he extremely showed out, Joe Burrow, and with that team right now, I see really big things with the Bengals. As a Browns fan, I don't like to say that, but the Bengals have such a solid squad this year. I think like maybe even the second best receiving core behind the Rams, who when they get Woods back, I can see them being better. But that young squad, I can see so many great things, and especially with that addition, I think Jamar Chase is definitely top 7 wide receiver this year, and he's not number 7, and that's all I really got to say. A+ for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate on it. I had him at A++. Like, I've never seen that from a rookie wide receiver, honestly. A lot of people said like Justin Jefferson had the best rookie wide receiver season ever. I think Jamar topped it. My personal,
I think he did top it when it comes to stats.
Yeah, like he played amazing. That one play, he had 2 plays against the Chiefs. It's 2 of his touchdowns. One, the first one where he just had one little juke, just outran everyone, and the second just them throwing over the top, him mossing someone in the end zone. Like, that shows he can do literally everything. There is not one thing Jamar Chase cannot do. And especially with how young, like how you guys were saying, how young that offense is, the Bengals are going to be a problem for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
If they're not in the Super Bowl this year, which I don't think they will be in the next 3 years.
I tweeted, I said, if the Bengals make it to the Super Bowl, I'll buy a Joe Burrow jersey. So, or I think I said if they win the Super Bowl, I'll buy a Joe Burrow jersey. So
I got one in my closet. You can buy it off me.
Yes, sir. All right.
For A+ for me for Jamar Chase. He's been insane. Like, he has 1,400 yards on the season. He's done everything you can ask out of a rookie and more. He's going to be a top 3 receiver soon in the league if he isn't already now. So A+.
All right, number 6. Now, y'all might not necessarily agree with me on this one, but I'm giving my second A+ to Jalen Waddle, and it's not because I'm a Dolphins fan. Jalen Waddle, when you watch the Dolphins, and it's evident by what the media said about him, he was voted the Dolphins team MVP as a rookie. The last person to do that was Zach Thomas. When you watch the Dolphins, they didn't really utilize him as he was drafted out to be, and that is due to Tua not having the greatest arm and the offensive line not giving Tua protection. So you look at what Jalen Waddle did, and he's about to break the rookie reception record tomorrow. If he doesn't do it, then that's crazy. He's going to hit 1,000 yards tomorrow. Yes, he didn't have the stellar stats like Jamar Chase did. He didn't have the exposure like Jamar Chase did. But what Waddle did, if you watch Dolphins games, was simply fantastic. He did everything that they needed, and he still hasn't been tapped into that potential that he was drafted to be, which is insane. Jalen Waddle was my number 1 receiver, and what he's done this year has been fantastic. Y'all might not agree with the A+, but as a Dolphins fan, I think that if we didn't have Waddle, it would have been bad. He was one of the only bright spots on that offense, and he was probably our best player the whole year. My opinion, though. I'm
not willing to give up an A+ for him yet. I think he sits right up there with Kyle Pitts at an A, A- at worst, but I see a lot of potential in him. Didn't watch a whole lot of Dolphins games this year, but from what I saw highlight-wise, stat-wise, I see a lot of potential in him. I think like a future Terry McLaurin, or maybe even like a healthy I'm blanking, but a healthy Broncos receiver. I can't remember his name, but I think I see a lot of potential in him. He's got a huge future ahead of him if they can utilize him, if they can figure out the kinks with Tua, and they can figure out the problems with the O-line. I think that they have a huge future with Jalen Waddle. I think he's a great receiver. He's got a couple kinks to figure out. find his way into the end zone a couple more times and, get the ball down the field. I really liked how he played this year, but I really do see a good future with him. But, yeah, I think an A rating would be perfect for him.
I agree. I think he's at A or A minus. Skill-wise, definitely an A. How he did this season, I'd say A minus maybe. And not because of him, mostly because of Tua and even the coaching. I think some of the play calls were horrid. I saw when they played our Raiders screenplay in the end zone. Like, that makes no sense. I think if they can find a quarterback that can hit him deep, they're set with him. He is a great player. He's fast as hell. He's got just kind of like how I said, Jamar. I think he can do anything if you give him the tools. So as long as they get a better coach or just at least get some better play calls and a quarterback that can do it, he will be an A plus in no time.
Yeah, it's an A for me for Jalen Waddle. He had an outstanding rookie year. Even though it didn't show up on the stat sheet, he played just a little bit under the level of like Jamar Chase. They need to figure out their quarterback situation with Tua. Waddle flourishing with a quarterback like that. You need a guy that can throw it down the field where Waddle gets that separation, just streaks down the field. And he's going to be a great player for a long time. Definitely. A for me for right now, though.
Yeah, like I said, I knew y'all wouldn't agree with my A+, but maybe it's because I watch more Dolphins games and I see how important he is. He doesn't have the stats that Jamar Chase has, but I feel like Jalen Waddle one-on-one he was unguardable this year. And I know that Jacob's seen it when the Jets played against the Dolphins. He was unguardable. Games like the Panthers, he was unguardable. There was no one touching him. And so he was always open. It's just more about the offensive line being horrid, and Tua definitely need to take a better step. And if they do go somewhere else with quarterback, then finding a quarterback that can hit them deep. Because I still think Tua can. I'm not giving up on Tua because I've seen him do it, but it's definitely the whole offense as a whole was terrible, and Jalen Waddle was the bright spot. That's why I gave him an A+, but I didn't expect y'all to agree with that. So, yeah. But he was just always open. 7, Penei Sewell. He's getting an A for me. So towards the end of the year, he played like an A+, but over he was an A. He was solid. He had a couple rough spots to start the year, but towards the end, he was virtually one of the best tackles in the league. He was one of the main points or components of a good Detroit Lions offensive line, and if they can find the quarterback, the Detroit Lions could be getting closer than we think. Get a quarterback, some weapons, and then start getting your piece on defense. They could be closer than you think. Penei Sewell was a great pick, though. He gets an A for me.
I agree. I think an A is a great rating for him. I think I'd put him at an A-. Strictly because the Lions, you didn't get to see a whole lot of his play, a lot of him striving, because there was just not a whole lot of production from that team in general. But him alone, I think he played great. Coming in as a rookie tackle is one of the hardest positions to come in as. It's very difficult to become good in the NFL against these defensive ends and these linebackers that he's playing against it at a pro level compared to college. But I think he picked up the ball very quickly after 2 weeks, I think. I don't think he let up a sack for a while, and it was very impressive to see him play, especially with Jared Goff at QB. And, they had some running back problems with injuries, but I think he was definitely the bright spot of a very underwhelming Detroit Lions team yet again. But I definitely see a big future for him, whether it's with the Lions or with another team down the road. But I think he has a lot of potential.
Yeah, I really got not too much to say about him. Y'all kind of got it all. He's a great pickup for the Lions. Yeah, I mean, him and Slater, I think both did pretty good. I really can't say too much about him.
I'm going with a B+ here, just simply because he didn't start off the year well, and as he went on, he got better. But just because of that play at the beginning of the year, I'm going B+. But he's definitely going to be a cornerstone piece for that Lions offensive line for the future. And yeah, B+.
Yeah. he played phenomenal to end the year. Elijah Moore, Jalen Waddle were three of the top graded rookies after Thanksgiving by PFF. But still, he definitely was a top one at the top of this amazing class. 8, Carolina Panthers took J.C. Horn. I'm giving this an incomplete. He was good when he played, but he broke his foot like second, third week. I gotta give him an incomplete. But he was really, really good when he played. So if he has a stretch of season like that, I think that he could be at the top echelon of corners because of how good he was. But it's such a small sample size like Trey Lance. I can't really grade it.
I think the Panthers are, kind of how we said about the Lions. The Panthers are really, really close. You look at that defense. You got Stephon Gilmore. J.C. Horn looked amazing when I watched him play.
Yeah.
Obviously there's rumors about them getting rid of McCaffrey. I don't think it's a terrible idea. If they can go get a quarterback, they can go get Watson. That team is scary.
I think even a guy like Kenny Pickett, he's a Joe Burrow type that I think that would thrive if you give him an offensive line. That's the biggest thing. That's why I have him going offensive line in my mock because their offensive line's atrocious. But
nice. I was not huge on Robbie Anderson at all this year. All the drops I've seen him have is just he was terrible in my opinion. It's DJ Moore though; he's a great receiver. Yeah, they are really, really close, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. Just didn't see enough of his play to make a decision. He was hurt for most of the year, but when he did play, from what I hear, I think he played pretty good. I'd just like to see what future he has ahead of him.
Yeah, incomplete for me too. The 2 games he played in, pretty sure he got his first career pick in week 1 off of Jameis Winston. But if he can stay healthy, he has a bright future ahead of him. But for now, incomplete.
Yeah, I agree with everything else said. He was fantastic when he played, but obviously breaking his foot so early on, it's hard to grade him. Number 9, Denver Broncos took Patrick Surtain on draft night. Everyone's crazy. Why don't you take Justin Fields? Well, because Patrick Surtain was the best corner in football, or not best corner in football, but rookie corner last year. His biggest concerns were the fact that maybe his athletic profile wasn't as good. But when you're shutting down one side of the field, it really doesn't matter. Patrick Surtain was really good. I'm giving him an A. I think he was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd give him an A as well. I mean, it's enough said. He played his ass off this year, and I think huge future for him in the Broncos, honestly.
I hate to say it, but it's an A. I mean, I hate the Broncos with a passion. But he's a stud. There's no question about it. When the Broncos took him, I mean, I don't know if y'all remember, I was roasting our friend Malik.
Yeah.
Thinking about it now, I mean, Justin Fields didn't look, we'll talk about him in a little bit. Like, he didn't look amazing. Surtain, I don't know how many interceptions he had this season, but I mean, he was just locked down. So, yeah, he's an A.
Yeah, it's an A for me too. Surtain looked really good on tape this year. And the Broncos secondary as a whole is going to look really good with him there for a long time. A.
Number 10, a guy that just, as we're recording this, just broke the Eagles rookie reception record, Devonta Smith, former Heisman Trophy winner. The stats aren't going to show it, but he played phenomenal this year. He was a bright spot on that Eagles offense that doesn't have any weapons. He was constantly open. Jalen Hurts missed him. His stats aren't going to show how good he was. And then the PFF podcast I've watched, they were raving about him. Yes, he's still a little small, but he's played so much more physical than his size. And everything that was the concern in the NFL or going into the NFL has not been a concern. I give him a B+ to an A. I think it's Jamar Chase, and I think it's Jalen Waddle, and then Devonta Smith. And then you just kind of got like the guys like Elijah Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rashad Bateman. I think those 3 were a step above everyone else. Obviously, Jamar Chase was another step above them, but I think you got to give him a B plus to an A. It's hard to give him a B plus, but I don't know. I think he's an A to a B plus in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, I think a B minus for him would be best. Playing with the Philadelphia Eagles, you got a young quarterback, you got a young receiver. They're kind of connecting from their past. Alabama connects. I like what I saw out of him this year. I didn't see a whole lot. There wasn't that like wow factor that you saw with Jamar Chase, with Jalen Waddle, and even Amon-Ra St. Brown at the end of the year. He was kind of turning up. Like, I didn't see that out of Devonta, which I would have really enjoyed to see. He was the Heisman. Everybody had a lot of hype. He didn't fully live up to that, in my opinion. But I think the future for him is really bright. If the Eagles can pick it up, they're going to the playoffs. I mean, I'd just like to see what their future would look like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super high on Devonta Smith. I'm giving him the same speech as Jalen Waddle, basically. It's not him. He's got the talent. It's the team around him. I don't think Jalen Hurts is really it, but I don't think it's exactly time to move on from him. The run game on the Eagles is amazing. But Devonta Smith, I mean, seriously, he's probably my favorite player I've ever watched. Just on a personal standpoint, his future is so bright. There's been so many highlights of him just full on like toe tap God.
Yeah, that was insane.
He's had like 2 or 3 just amazing like toe tap catches. It's just like he's got the speed, he's got the routes, he's played physical. Everyone's talking about how he's only like 166 or whatever. He's still playing physical. He's a stud, and he's going to be a really good receiver for the next couple of years, or actually many years.
I'm giving him a B minus. He had a quietly good year, but obviously in the situation the Eagles are with Jalen Hurts at QB, he's very inconsistent. He overthrows his wide receivers all the time, but he just set like Cole said, he just set the Eagles rookie wide receiver yards record, and I feel like if they can get the right guy in there to throw to him, he'd be one of the top receivers in the league.
Yeah. So, like y'all said, he had a quiet rookie year, and that's due stats wise. I mean, he's had those highlight plays like Jackson mentioned, the toe tap, and then mossing the number 9 pick, Patrick Chertan. He has had those wow plays. It might not be as shown as a guy like Jamar Chase, obviously, or Jalen Waddle. I think that's why he earned an A grade for me, because if you go back and watch his tape, he's always open, and that's all you're asking for from a receiver. He can't help it if the quarterback doesn't throw it to him. All he can do is do what he's supposed to do, and that's get open and do whatever the quarterback needs. So is Jalen Hurts the guy? I don't know. I think he played well this year, but Devonta Smith, I think, definitely was one of their best players on offense, and definitely their best skill player on offense. And I forgot who mentioned it, but that Eagles running game was so good that the passing game's not always going to be as looked at because of how good the running game is with a guy like Jalen Hurts, who led the league in rushing yards and touchdowns as a quarterback, 4 quarterbacks. And a guy like Miles Sanders, who was banged up, Kenny Gainwell. I think Devonta Smith was fantastic this year, though. If you go back and watch his tape, you're going to see that he's always open, and that his size did not matter when it came to the NFL like people thought it would. Number 11, the Bears traded up from 20 to take quarterback out of Ohio State, Justin Fields. This is going to be an interesting one. Justin Fields had points where he looked good, looked great, and he had points where he did not look good. The Bears' offensive line was horrid. Allen Robinson did not play well, and if people are trying to put down Justin Fields, I don't think that's the case. Allen Robinson just was not very good this year. Darnell Mooney, he was good. Justin Fields, he gets a C minus. He gets the same grade as Trevor Lawrence. You see the flashes, but you also see the down. You see the bad. You see the bad, but you also see the flashes. I don't think he played as well as Zach Wilson, but you see the flashes in a guy like Justin Fields. I do think the Bears still had made a good trade drafting Justin Fields, trading up, even though their pick is top 5, I think, or top 10, it's still it's a quarterback, and that's the most important position. So I'm giving Justin Fields a C-, same grade as Trevor Lawrence. I think he played probably a little better than Trevor Lawrence, to be honest.
I agree. Justin Fields played horrible this season. I did not see a whole lot of big plays out of him like I saw at Ohio State. That Ohio State Clemson game where you saw him and Trevor Lawrence face off. I saw a different person, fighting through the rib injury, throwing 60-yard touchdowns, bombing it, and just completely destroying that Clemson defense, who were supposed to be like very good that season. I just didn't see that spark out of him this year, whether it's the coaching, which he had a lot of problems with, or the offensive line, like in the Browns versus Bears game this year. I saw Myles Garrett got like 4 sacks, and I was like, holy crap, like this Bears O-line is awful. And, they're just deteriorating a future, average to above average rookie quarterback at the moment. And I just don't see a whole lot of future for him with the Bears right now. They need to make some off-season trades or, pick up some good people off the waiver wire. And, I think I'd give him like a C+ maybe.
Personally, I'm really high on Justin Fields. Grade-wise, I'm giving him a C. I'm really high on his talent, especially like how Ben was just talking about. His college was like, he was amazing, especially in the game against Clemson. I thought he was going to be really good. I thought the Bears were going to be better overall. But, I mean, they were just complete garbage. The O-line is terrible. I remember, I forget who got the hit on him, but the hit that like took off his helmet, that might have been the preseason. I'm not even sure. It was early on in the season.
Yeah, I know.
He was just getting smacked every single game. And also, he's in a QB battle with Andy Dalton and I believe Nick Foles. Was it Nick Foles too?
Okay.
Yeah, Nick Foles.
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought. It was like he was just put in such a weird position. Matt Nagy is his coach. It's really hard to judge him yet. Honestly, I think he can be good if they give him the right tools. Same thing, like I said, with honestly all the rookie quarterbacks. It's kind of what's said about any quarterback. You give them the right tools, they can be good. Sometimes they're not, but I think Justin Fields could be like a really top tier talent if the Bears can get a good rebuild.
For me, Justin Fields is like a D+. Out of college, I was just never sold on him. And this year he's just been absolutely atrocious. Like, you have a guy like Allen Robinson at wide receiver, and you just can't get the ball to him at all. That's embarrassing. Allen Robinson's an elite receiver, and he had 500, 600 yards this year, one of the worst years of his career. But yeah, I'm not sold on Fields at all. I'm giving him like a D+.
I mean, Fields wasn't the quarterback for the whole year, so you can't just put that on him. I mean, you got to blame Andy Dalton. You got to blame Nick Foles. And you also got to blame Allen Robinson. I mean, flat out, Allen Robinson just wasn't that great this year. He just wasn't. I mean, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from as a lower grade. The things that Justin Fields coming in was reading defenses. He wasn't really as good as some of his peers at that. And you're still seeing it, but the thing is with Justin Fields, I think he might fall. He's either going to succeed or he's going to follow the Mitch Trubisky route. And at that point, it's just the Bears. I think the Bears did ruin Trubisky, and I hope they don't do it with Fields because he's so talented. All right, giving my third A+ of the video, Micah Parsons was the best rookie this year. Him and Jamar Chase were flat out better than everyone. Micah Parsons is getting Defensive Player of the Year votes, as he should. He was amazing as a pass rusher. He was a fantastic linebacker. There's nothing more you can say about him, is that he was just flat out fantastic. And he exceeded my expectation. He's my 12th overall player on the board, a lot due to character, but it really didn't matter. He was amazing in coverage. If you're building a defensive player in the lab, that's what you're going to get. And the fact that we're going to get him for the next 10, 15 years, that's going to be insane. Micah Parsons gets an A++, if y'all want to count that as a grade, or an A+, whatever you want to do. Micah Parsons was flat out fantastic.
I agree. I think Micah Parsons was an A+. I mean, you touched on every point that I wanted to even say. The Cowboys are a great team this year, and I hate to say it, but they're exceeding expectations yet again. Maybe not a this is their year type thing again, but he's definitely made that defense come together from the way it was last year and the absolute awful play that they had last year. A+, enough said.
You made one really good point there. I mean, he's exactly what the Cowboys defense needed. I'm not completely sold on the Cowboys, but I feel like that's just because a lot of people just hate the Cowboys. They could go take it all. But Parsons, he's an A+. Maybe an A. Maybe, but to me, he's an A+. He's physical. I mean, you can see it in the bottom right corner. 12 sacks in his first 13 games. That's amazing.
Yeah.
There's not much you need to say besides he is just a physical beast. He has good coverage. He has a good pass rush. He's a perfect player for him.
Yeah, A+ for Micah Parsons. In my opinion, he's the best defensive player in this draft class, and he could quite possibly be the defensive player of the year. He's just insane. He gets to the quarterback so well. He can cover tight ends. He can cover the flat, and he can do it all. He's one of the most versatile guys I've seen in a draft class in a while, and he's going to be a force, a straight force for so long. A+, undoubtedly.
I think the most impressive thing about Micah Parsons, as you hit on with the versatility, he played so many different positions. He played linebacker. He played edge. He played slot corner. He played offensive line at one point. There's so much you can say about this guy. He was flat out you don't usually like comparing rookies to the best defensive player of all time, Lawrence Taylor, but Micah Parsons has earned that comparison. He has been flat out so good, and the fact that the Cowboys, he wasn't their first option, is still scary. The fact that they wanted a corner and the fact they couldn't get a corner and they traded down, it's just scary to me. But I think they're happy with their decision.
I was hoping so much that somehow he'd fall to the Raiders.
Yeah.
I didn't think he'd be this good, but I wanted Micah Parsons.
I didn't think he'd be this good. I knew he'd be good. I just didn't know he'd be this good.
I thought he was going to be
fast.
solid. Yeah, I thought he was just going to be solid. I didn't think he was going to be just defensive player of the year, just absolute greatness. But I was really hoping we'd get him somehow.
Yeah. I'm going to give out another A+. Rashawn Slater, unlike Peninsula, was fantastic the whole year. I think the only game he struggled was against Myles Garrett. He held his own against Myles Garrett too. Rashawn Slater was flat out fantastic. He reminded me of Tristan Wirfs of 13th pick, going to a team that needed an offensive tackle, had a good quarterback, and he helped the Chargers be where we'll find out if they'll be a playoff team tomorrow. He helped solidify the offensive line with Corey Linsley and other guys. It's just Rashawn Slater was flat out fantastic in pass protection, run blocking. He was good. I give him an A+ because I think he was the best off the tackle. He was just fantastic. Top 5 rookie.
I agree. A+ for sure. I did not see a single flaw in his game. That Browns game where our defense was playing atrociously, I think he held his own against Myles Garrett, which I cannot say a lot about a lot of tackles in the NFL. I see Myles Garrett getting double, triple team nowadays, and he held his own one-on-one against him most game. And it was pretty exciting to see him show out for the Chargers. They're definitely a team on the come up, and I'd like to see what his future looks like. I can totally see him being like a 8 to 10 year veteran down the road.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys can't tell, how it was with Sewell, I'm not a great person to talk about O-line, but Slater is a guy that impressed me a lot. You guys are talking about the perfect game. It's the game against Myles Garrett. He's held his own. He's a great lineman. Obviously, he's going to the Pro Bowl. There's reasons why he's going there, and he's a big reason for the Chargers' success this season. Definitely A or A+.
Yeah, I'm going A+. Rashawn Slater, he's got it all. strength, run blocking, pass blocking. He really impressed me a lot this year. A+ for sure.
Yeah, I think we all agree. Rashawn Slater he was probably the second best offensive lineman in this class, but off the tackle wise, he was number one. With Sewell being a close second. Offensive guard Elijah Tucker was taken 14th after the Jets traded up. And I think they made a good decision. Elijah Tucker was very solid this year. He struggled at points, but overall, I think he played well, and he's helping cement a coming up of a good offensive line for the Jets with Mekhi Becton. And obviously, there was a chance they could draft someone else like a Ike Ekwonu or a Evan Neal. Elijah Tucker was very good, though, in my opinion. I give him a B. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly just going to go with you. I did not watch any of the Jets O-linemen play this year. I'm going to be honest. The Jets were not on my TV this year, but
dang it, man.
Elijah Tucker heard his name a couple times this year, so as a rookie, that's pretty exciting. Offensive guards don't really get a whole lot of popularity in the NFL nowadays. So, I'm hoping for a good future for him. Honestly, I guess I'd give him a B. Going with Cole.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hate for this. Like, I'm going with you two. I don't know anything about him, if I'm being honest with you guys. If you guys told me he was a receiver for the Texans, I'd probably believe you. I don't really know anything about him, so he got a B.
I've watched Vera Tucker all year. I've seen him from week one. He's easily an A for me. He has been so good, man. Run blocking every week, he just gets better. Pass blocking from day one, he was great. He's been a huge boost to the offensive line. And if they can get Mekhi Becton next year, that left side of the line is going to be filthy. Solid A for me.
Yeah. Yeah, Elijah Tucker, he had some games to struggle, but he also played so good that, yeah, he deserves that B to A range. 15, this is going to be an interesting one. Mack Jones. Now, the Patriots made noise when they cut Cam Newton and gave Mack Jones a starting job. Mack Jones was the best rookie quarterback. Do I think he was kind of overrated as a rookie this year? And does he deserve Offensive Rookie of the Year? In my opinion, no. Even without that last game by Jamar Chase, I think that two guys deserved over him. But Mack Jones as a rookie was very good. I'm gonna give him a B plus because you do see some of those games where he struggled, but he's a rookie. He was the best rookie quarterback, though, in my opinion. Now, he doesn't have that high ceiling of a guy like Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence, Fields, or Lance, or even Davis Mills. But he definitely played the best. And I feel like that does have to do with the situation. But, I mean, you can go only off what you see. And I'm giving a B+.
Yeah, I'm going to have to shoot lower than that. Maybe like a B-. The only true, big game I saw out of him, he had a couple, but the biggest one I saw was definitely against my Browns. He torched us for 40-plus points and just destroyed our team.
Yeah.
He was feeling it that day, and I saw a lot of potential out of that player. 100% the best quarterback in the draft. I think with that coach and with that offense, I think he has a huge future ahead of him, depending on the way that they go with receivers and they kind of need a running back spot to fill too. So maybe this upcoming draft they'll be looking into that. But I really like the way he played, honestly. B-, B at best. Yeah.
I personally have to go with B. I have so much respect for Mack Jones. I remember I hated on him a lot, coming out of college. I didn't have much respect for him. I did not think the Patriots were going to be good at all. I thought they're going to be decent, 5, 6, 7 win team. I'm not a fan of the receivers still, but Mack Jones. I think a big part of it is Bill Belichick for the Patriots' success. As a whole, but Mack Jones, you can't take away that he has been playing good. Do I think he is going to end up being the best quarterback in this class in the long run? No. But right now, it's not a question. He is the best quarterback in the class right now.
Yeah, I'm going with a B for Mack Jones. He's shown some flashes of being a really good quarterback, but honestly, he's so immobile. He reminds me of like Tom Brady in like 2005, but I feel like with Belichick as a coach and having Josh McDaniels as your offensive coordinator, that's automatically a boost to any quarterback. And again, he did show flashes of like really, really good potential. So solid, like.
Yeah, Mack Jones is not very mobile, but the good thing he does do is he does move well in the pocket, which is always a good trait to have as a quarterback. But yeah, I think around that B to B plus range is a good spot for Mack Jones. Maybe not the highest upside, but he was the best performing quarterback by the year, and it wasn't very particularly close.
He's also
16.
for New England, though. I'm not gonna lie. You look at Tom Brady when he was a rookie, like he's not a mobile guy at all. He still isn't, obviously. He is the Patriots quarterback, like
Yeah. 16. I know a lot about most of these guys in the class. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really pay attention to Zayvon Collins. I don't know how well he played. From what I've heard, I think he was solid. I'd give him a B. I mean, I just B minus. I just really didn't. I could tell you most about most of the people in the class, not much about Zayvon Collins, even though I really liked him coming into the draft. So I'm just gonna go B.
Yeah, Zayvon again, just like Mack Jones, completely destroyed my Browns offense. Shut us down. I think he had an interception on Baker, which isn't too
uncommon.
It's pretty common nowadays for linebackers to have at least an interception on that guy. But I saw a lot out of him this year, especially coming out of a smaller college. I think he showed up, especially for that Cardinals defense. So I'd give him a B.
I honestly have not seen too much of Collins yet. For what I have seen, he is pretty good. I'll give him a B just because, like, I really, he's a guy I haven't really evaluated that much. So yeah, I'll just give him a B.
Solid B for me for Zayvon Collins. I didn't really see much from him, but I feel like he has potential to be a good linebacker for the Cardinals. So B for me.
All right, 17. This is going to be my first F of the video. Unfortunately for our old Raiders fan in here. 17, the Las Vegas Raiders shocked everyone when they drafted a guy that was a second to third round, despite being from Alabama, second to third round talent.
Meme
Alex
connoisseur.
Leatherwood. Meme connoisseur, the greatest player of all time. Let's go. Nah, but he gets a D minus to an F. He was not very good at all. His PFF grades were terrible. They kicked him in the guard, and he still wasn't very good. It's just bad. Alex Leatherwood. Hopefully he can turn around, but it's not looking good. F.
Yeah, I agree. I know every single name for the first 20 picks, and he is one of them that I have no idea who that is. That could be a Jets safety for all I care, but that man is definitely garbage. Solid F. I don't even. Was he hurt all year or something? I don't know, dude.
No, that's the bad
I have a lot to
thing.
say about him. He just sucks.
He just wasn't good.
Yeah, no, he is absolutely terrible coming from a Raiders fan. F minus. I hate that guy. I have never seen an old lineman get as many. It's all like false starts, bro. It's all stupid shit, bro. Like, I'm trying to remember what game it was. I think it was the Ravens game, week 1 is when I started hating that dude because we're in overtime and he gets like 2 false starts in a row. And I'm just like, you are going to fucking cost us this game, bro. Like, he sucks. I don't know. When we drafted him, I didn't know who he was. I was just like,
I knew who he was. I told y'all. I mean, I was the draft guy for the group chat. I told y'all he was a second to third round talent. I like him as a person. He wasn't worth a first round pick. And the Raiders, go after guys that aren't really projected where they draft him at. A guy like Cleveland Farrell, Alex Leatherwood.
All of our late round picks that are doing good.
Damon Arnett. And
Arnett, then I don't understand that pick to this day. I was so mad. I hated that draft class and for obvious reasons.
Yeah. I mean, until Henry Ruggs did what he did, I mean, he was solid. But
Even when we
other
drafted
thing,
Ruggs, I was
the
not
whole
happy.
draft class was terrible.
I think honestly, like just a little thing about Henry Ruggs, and I'll move on. Like when we first drafted him, I was so mad. I wanted us to take CD Lamb so bad, and then once I saw Ruggs play, I was like, okay, I like this, and now we know what happened. So
tough being a Raiders fan.
It's really tough.
Yeah, Leatherwood is god awful, garbage. He should be cut immediately. Honestly, he's an F. If he was as good at collecting memes as he was playing football, he would be a Hall of Fame. But like, he's so
I
bad.
I like him as a person though. So
Yeah, he's a great person.
But
he does
as
not,
a player, he just was not very good. Hopefully, he can turn around though. But
no, he should be cut. F.
All right, 18. The Miami Dolphins' second pick, which Jalen Phillips. He was quiet to start the year, but over time, he became one of the guys on the defense. Like he was constantly getting back there to the quarterback, and that Panthers game really cemented a good season from him. I'm going to go B to B plus. I really enjoyed watching Jalen Phillips, and you see the upside with him. I think he has potential. He was my number 2 defensive player coming out, my number 1 edge rusher. He was great. He was good in my opinion. I want to see a whole season of consistency, but overall, I would give him a B to B plus.
I honestly have no opinion on him. Didn't really hear a whole lot about him. Heard his name a little bit, Jalen Phillips sounded pretty good, I guess, coming out of the draft, but just wasn't really as electric as I think he was expected to be this year. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll go with like a solid C plus.
I have nothing to say. Honestly, from now on, there's probably only like 2 or 3 more guys I can really talk about. There's a lot of guys I don't know much about. But for what I did see for Phillips, he is pretty good. But I'll give him a B. Kind of like just the other guys, I don't really know what to say about him, honestly.
Watching Jalen Phillips play against the Jets in those 2 games, he looked like he flashed a lot of talent. I'm pretty sure he sacked Joe Flacco in the first game.
Yeah,
he can really get off the ball very well, and he's pretty versatile for a guy that plays linebacker. So for me, I'd probably give him like C plus B minus because he hasn't really shown anything like too super special, but he can definitely be a solid piece of that Dolphins defense.
Yeah, and the thing you look at with Jalen Phillips was I don't know if he was really projected to be a star right away. He's more of an upside guy, former 5-star. He did have to retire due to concussions, but he came back, and I think he fits this defense really well. And I think it's making for a better defense than last year. Last year was just a good turnover defense. I think this year it's a more well-rounded defense. I think he was a solid part in making that happen. And like I said, the consistency thing is the problem for me. Why he can't go higher. That's why I have him at B plus. But obviously, you don't hear his name a lot. The only time you probably heard his name was against the Panthers. But yeah, he was good this year though. My second F of the video, Jamin Davis. He's terrible. He was bad. I love Jamin Davis coming out because you see the speed, you see everything, and the football team taken with the 19 pick, and he was bad. He couldn't tackle, and he couldn't tackle. He got benched for another linebacker, David Mayo, someone like that. So a journeyman linebacker that he should never be benched for. It's like Alex Leatherwood. He was just not very good, and it sucks because I like Jamin Davis coming out, but F.
Again, got nothing to say about him. Never heard his name. Never heard anything about him.
That's why he's getting an F from me.
Could have told me he was any other position on any other team, and I wouldn't have even second guessed it. But
I've literally never.
F for me.
F.
Yeah, he was bad. Kadarius Toney, this one's an interesting one. I'm gonna give him a C. He had that really good game against Trayvon Diggs, or I'm not gonna say Trayvon Diggs. He had a good game against the Cowboys, but other than that, he was misutilized, and he kind of had one really good game, and I think he could end up being a bust. But you see the shiftiness, you see the potential in him. His route tree's not particularly fantastic, but other than that, he was all right. He like that one good game, but Kadarius Toney gets C for me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, with our final rookie for the video, I really kind of expected more from him this year. I liked his play in Florida, honestly. I saw a lot of him. I saw a lot of highlights from him. Didn't see a whole lot out of him this year. I mean, Daniel Jones at QB doesn't help a whole lot. Saquon being out, they just did not have an offensive threat this year at all. He was probably the only bright spot in that team. I saw a lot of shining moments. You know, he gave me a lot of Darnell Mooney kind of vibes, but like on a lower scale, I guess. He's just, I think he has potential. He got in that little scrap for a bit. That was pretty funny to watch, but he had a great game against the Cowboys, and I actually really enjoyed watching that game. But yeah, C plus, maybe a B minus.
He has potential. He really does. I mean, like how we're saying, that Cowboys game, other than that, there's really nothing else to say. I mean, I haven't seen much other than that game. I've seen a couple clips, but honestly, I was kind of questioning if he got hurt. Like, I haven't seen anything.
I think he was hurt at some point, and I also think he was on the COVID list at some point. But he kind of became quiet even when he was playing. He wasn't.
He seems like he might not be like all there as a teammate and like off the field. Also, you got like a little scrap during the game. I don't know. I mean, I really don't know the future of him. Like, he's not a big name, but he can be. That Cowboys game, I mean, he just went off. At Florida, he was a great wide receiver. I was really high on him. When the Giants took him, though, I wasn't like super ecstatic about it, though. I will be honest about that. I was kind of like, I just don't see it. I just really did not think he was going to be a huge NFL talent. So I'll give him like a C minus.
He's a good player. I don't think he was drafted in the right position.
Yeah, that's facts. I
don't think that's where he needed to go. I think he needed to go somewhere like Jacksonville, where he could be that vocal point of the offense, where you can obviously not with Urban Meyer, but like you can scheme around the guy, or a team like the Ravens maybe. They're Packers maybe. There's so many other positions where you can scheme a guy, and I think he really needs to be schemed to be a very valuable player. But I mean, that's also valuable in the league. Guys like Tyreek Hill obviously get schemed. Jalen Waddle has gotten schemed. There's guys that you scheme to be a difference maker, and that's what you kind of got to do with him because of his limited route tree. But yeah, he just.
I gotta say, like, is there any Giants receivers that really had like a standout season?
No, because they had Daniel Jones and Mike Lennon at quarterback.
Galladay was mediocre.
Galladay was terrible. He was bad.
Yeah,
he had like one or zero. I think he had 0 touchdowns. It was bad.
I didn't see much from him.
Yeah, no, he was not good.
I was just because I like Galladay. That's why I was kind of some slack, but like.
I didn't want him on the Dolphins. He's a good receiver, but
he's a good receiver. But I mean, the Giants, like, again, you said it perfectly. He's not in the right scheme. He has showed he's a playmaker. You know, kind of like I've said about the other receivers. He has kind of shown that he can be the full package. He can be physical. He's got the speed. He's got some clean routes. Like, he can be that receiver, but they just haven't really showcased it yet.
Yeah, he's just not on the right team. The Giants just haven't used him correctly at all. You got to get him into space where that's where he works best. He led college football in yards after catch, I'm pretty sure. And he's got him.
Yeah, I think it was him and Waddle. I mean, before Waddle went out with the injury, Waddle was averaging like 20 yards. Him and Waddle, I think, were at the top of Yak.
He was just misused all year. I'm pretty sure after like week 12, he was out with like COVID and other injuries and stuff. So he's just not in the right not like scheme position anywhere with the Giants. So I'd probably give him say like C plus, C maybe.
For the sakeness of time, I'm gonna go with the next 12 picks. I'm gonna give quick thought about each of them, then you can talk about any of the players that I mentioned so we can get this done a little bit quicker. Kwity Paye was very good this year on a good Colts defense. I'll give him a B+. Caleb Farley incomplete. He was hurt before the season or the first game or something. Christian Darrisaw didn't play much as a rookie, but when you saw him, he was good. I give him a B. Naji Harris, he was the vocal point of that Steelers offense, and I love Naji. He kind of was not – he wasn't the best rookie running back, but he was definitely second. But with the amount of touches, he's bound to be something special. I give him B+. Travis Etienne, incomplete, obviously injury before a year. Greg Newsom, I give an A. He was fantastic. He was great. Peyton Turner, I give him a D. I don't think he was particularly good. Eric Stokes was fantastic again. He was good. I give him an A, especially with people not being particularly high on the Packers drafting him. He was really good. Gregory Rousseau, kind of overrated. He had a good game against the Dolphins twice, and people thought he was super good. He is all right. I give him a C. Odafe Owe, he was actually very good this year. High upside guy, and he showcased more of that talent than that we didn't really see at Penn State. I give him a B+. Joe Tryon, I'm not going to lie. I didn't hear much of. I'm giving him a C.
Yeah, I mean, Kwity Paye, Caleb Farley, Christian Darrisaw. I haven't heard any of those names all year. Maybe Caleb Farley once or twice. I guess I'll just give them all average ratings of C's. Naji, I'd give him an A-. I mean, I saw a lot of hope out of him. I think he can be a future great player. Etienne, he didn't get to play a whole lot.
He didn't play at all. He was hurt for the season.
I think it was just ridiculous that they even drafted him. Greg Newsom, Browns player, A-. I saw a lot of good things out of him. We were just a completely terrible defense, injury-ridden all year. We had our hopes, but, I think him and Denzel Ward both played great this year. Just great upside with him in general. Rashad Bateman also had a pretty good year. I'd give him a B+, honestly.
Yeah, I forgot to say him. I gave him a B+. I forgot to mention
I think with Lamar at quarterback, and now with injured Lamar and whoever's playing, third string, second string, whatever, I think he played pretty well. Peyton Turner, Eric Stokes, Rousseau, Owe, and the other guy, don't want to even try to pronounce that name. Haven't heard anything from any of them, so just going to leave them with a C.
Yeah.
I'm only going to talk.
Stokes was really good.
I'm only going to talk about two of them. One a lot more than the other. Naji Harris really impressed me. I'm probably the most biased person when it comes to Naji. He comes from my hometown, Antioch, California. Of course, I'm going to be a little more biased towards him, but I'm really impressed by him. I think the Steelers' O-line is not very good. He's top 5. I think he was ranked 4 when it comes to rushing yards. But I really do think that he is going to be really good. And then the other one that really impressed me was Greg Newsom. Not much to say. He's a lockdown corner.
The three I want to talk about are Naji Harris, Greg Newsom, and Rashad Bateman. Obviously, Naji Harris has impressed a lot of people, including me. If the Steelers can get him an offensive line to run behind, he's going to be insane. He's already pretty damn good, but with an offensive line, he can really get to that next level. Greg Newsom, he's a lockup corner. Him and Denzel Ward are going to be a great corner tandem for a long time. And Rashad Bateman, he has a lot of potential to become maybe a top 15 receiver. Thing that maybe concerns me a little bit is Lamar Jackson, just because the offense they run, they don't really – they throw the ball a little bit, but not as much as I would like, just because they're a run-heavy team. But I feel like Rashad Bateman could potentially turn into a top 15 receiver. So I'm handing out B+ to Naji, A to Newsom, and C+ to Bateman.
Yeah, I didn't mention Bateman. I just skipped over him. He was very good when it came to the end of the year. he's going to be the wide receiver one in that offense. I give him a B plus just for how he finished. Yeah, you guys didn't really know about Stokes. Stokes was actually really, really good this year. He was on that Patrick Chertan, Greg Newsom level, even though y'all might not hear about him. He was really good this year. But that's going to wrap up our draft grades, which was really fun. Stop sharing. Now we're going to get into our 3 hot takes. I'll go first. We'll go just all 3, and then we'll talk about each 3 of them, and then everyone will say theirs. So, number 1, I have the 2021 draft class will go down as one of the best of all time. You're already seeing the talent with some of these guys, and I think that like you see these guys like Micah Parsons, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Rashawn Slater. You have the talent, and I haven't seen a talent class like this in a while. And we obviously have to see how they progress through the year. But what some of these guys have done so far, especially Micah Parsons, Jamar Chase, has been phenomenal. Curious to see your thoughts about that.
I mean, I think it's a really good. You kind of lagged on my end. Did you say like the best draft class, or like what did you say?
I said one of the best draft classes. Like when we look back at this from like 10, 15 years now, we're going to see multiple Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but I also would say like the last couple draft classes been that last year was really good.
I agree.
You mean 2020 or 2021?
2020.
I'm talking Justin Jefferson, like
CD. Okay, 2020.
Like
okay, 2020. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. You had in the quarterbacks too. You got Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
that was a pretty stacked class. Trying to think the year before that.
That was the Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa.
Right, like there's a lot of young stars in the league right now. So like I would say like. Yeah, it's hard to receiver wise. I think this could be one of the best in a while. Having 3,
I think this will go down as the best receiver class.
Because
I think I'm high on a guy like Jalen Waddle, Devonta Smith, Rashad Bateman, and then you got guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you got guys that could still make impact later on down the line. Because not every rookie makes an impact. There's guys that are second, third year, fourth year, even fifth and sixth year down the line that make impacts later down the line. So obviously we're going to have to see how these guys pan out. But just off of what they've done in the rookie year, I think this could go down as one of the best draft classes of all time. All right, this one's going to seem a little biased, but I put this one in the group chat, and not very many people agreed with me, so I put it as a hot take. Jalen Waddle is upwards of a top 15 receiver. You can put him in the 15 to 20 range, but I think he's in that range.
No, I'm sorry, but no.
No.
I mean, maybe potential-wise, but skill-wise, based on the season, hell no.
No.
That's why it's a hot
potential.
Take. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about it until Mike Renner brought it up. And the guy that I really like listening to, Mike Renner, he said Jalen Waddle was top 15. And I actually looked at it. I was like, what flaw has he had? I mean, he's had some drops, but other than that, he really hasn't had flaw. Yeah, I mean, but that's not his fault.
Right.
Stats aren't everything when
you're potential though.
Potential. He has the potential to be top 8, bro. Like he has so much potential. Right now, could I put him at 15? No, 20? Yeah.
I said 15 to 20. I'd said upwards of top 15.
Yeah.
So like that's putting him at like 15 to 20 range.
At worst, bro. But like, yeah, he's up there for sure. Especially like, I mean, obviously, you can't say this season or career, like this season's been his whole career, but like, he's definitely up there. It's hard to say because there's also been some receivers like, let's say like Michael Thomas, D-Hop that have been like injured. So like making like a top 10, top 15 is kind of hard right now. Especially like you have a guy like Cooper Kupp playing as the best this season, but I wouldn't say Cooper Kupp's the best receiver in the NFL.
No, he's in that top 5 range though.
Yeah, no, Cooper Kupp's he's a beast. He always has been. He's finally getting a shine, but I would say Waddle's top 20, not top 15 yet.
All right, I get that. That's why it's a hot take. I mean, we're not going to always agree. That's the whole point of this. So my last one, I have now as I think about it, I'm not for sure if I fully agree with this one, but I think Jalen Hurts was upwards of a top 15 quarterback this year. Yes, he had his struggles, but you got to think that. Ben, you're shaking your head. You're telling me you would not take Jalen Hurts over Baker Mayfield right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything about Baker because Baker's bottom 30 right now. But Jalen Hurts is definitely not top 15, and that's a fact.
No, I'm not saying he was in the top. I'm saying he's upwards of top 15. Like he's in that 15 to 20. Like I just said with Waddle. I don't know why I said top, but he's in that range, 15 to 20. He played very good this year.
20 to 5 range, I think. I mean, he had a great season, but he had so many flaws with that team, like Devonta Smith, and he had a decent running game that year. I just don't see a whole lot out of him. I think he could do much more.
The thing about Jalen Hurts is he's always gotten better. He's getting better every single year, and he's actually put up better stats than Lamar in his first whatever starts. Jalen Hurts had 18. So I mean, I don't know. Jalen Hurts played very well this year, and there's a reason that one of the Eagles are in the playoffs. So yeah.
Honestly, with Jalen Hurts, like kind of going back when he was in college, I was super high on him. I always thought he was better than Tua. I'm not gonna lie to you. This season, I think he's decent. I know I hate on him a little bit earlier. That's why I think, kind of saying he's going uphill. That's why I think the Eagles should keep him for one more season. Do I think he's top 15 this season? Maybe. I don't think there's that many great quarterbacks this season. You got guys like Russell Wilson declining. It was kind of a weird season as far as QBs go. So that's kind of a hard one to say. I'd have to really look at a sheet, like a stat sheet for that one.
Yeah, when I was looking at a list of quarterbacks, there wasn't many outside 15 that I would have taken over Jalen Hurts. And that's including Tua. I think Tua still has I still think Tua and Jalen Hurts are kind of in the same realm. I don't think Jalen Hurts has vastly outperformed Tua, but I think Jalen Hurts played very well this year, and he has earned that prove it one more year, see if you're the guy. And with him constantly getting better, I don't see why he won't end up being the Eagles franchise quarterback. But that's all my hot takes. So who's ever up next can go.
I said, Ben, you got it if you want.
Yeah, I'll take it. This one, I think some of you will agree with it, some of you won't. Justin Herbert wins MVP next year. I mean, it's not much of a hot take, but I feel like it's kind of underrated at the moment.
See, the thing is, a lot of people said that about this year.
Yeah, that's I true. Had Justin Herbert in that conversation this year.
A lot of people said Josh Allen as well.
I had Josh Allen as my MVP going into this year.
Allen. A lot of people were saying Herbert MVP next season.
I just don't see Herbert winning an MVP, honestly.
I like Herbert. I'm just I'm kind of Raiders biased, so it's hard to say, but I'm not huge on Herbert. I would say I like him. I like the Oregon Ducks, so
he's gonna put up 400 yards on you tomorrow. So just
probably,
as you say that,
as
you say that, he's gonna put up 400 yards.
He probably will, but I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be an MVP. We were talking in the group chat earlier if he was top 5. And I want to say no, but then I can't name 5 quarterbacks better than him. It's kind of hard to say who's going to win MVP next year though, because who knows if Rodgers is going to retire, right?
I got Joe.
MVP is so dependent on team success, and you kind of got to see what happens with the Chargers, because they are in play for a guy like Devontae Adams. They're in play with some of these guys that could change the franchise, and then obviously you have the draft, and you see how big of an impact a guy like Rashawn Slater makes to that team. I think that he could be MVP. He has the talent to be MVP. It's all going to be about team success and about kind of wilding him down a little bit.
Yeah, the Chargers are definitely scary next year. That's for sure.
Facts. My second one is the Chiefs are going to have 7 to 8 losses next season and not win the AFC West.
Now, who do you got winning the AFC West? The Chargers?
Chargers.
Probably Chargers, yeah.
I think we're going
Chargers or Broncos maybe if they get a quarterback.
Chargers.
So no love for the Raiders.
Nah, the Raiders stuff.
Unfortunately.
We're not going to be good next year, man. We're not in a good position.
Nah. Especially
But,
if Derek Carr could be on their way out.
I don't think he will be. Like I said in the group chat earlier, like I don't think we move on unless we're getting someone we know is going to be good.
Unless
Like
they,
I'm so low in the quarterbacks in this draft class. Like
I'm high on some of the guys, but not like as high as I've been in the past.
I like Pickett, but I don't want him to be on the Raiders. Honestly, I'm not.
The thing about the Raiders is that they trade Carr, get picks back, and they start the rebuild that they've been doing for the last 30 years. It seems like, or you keep Carr and you be mediocre. And it's not Carr's fault. It's the roster around him. They haven't built a good roster. It starts with a good head coach. John Gruden, even though he was the best coach in the NFL, he was not it. He was not it. He was terrible and he was racist and everything. And he still wasn't a good coach. That's the thing. He wasn't a good coach anyway, so it really didn't matter.
Yeah,
so I think the Raiders do trade Carr to, unfortunately, because I love Carr. He's so mentally strong that it's a guy that I think Ben and the Browns I think they need. I think he would fit that team perfectly, and you get some first round picks, and I think you start your rebuild again, unfortunately, because it just didn't work out with Carr, and it's not his fault. It's how they built the team around him. Get drafting guys like Cleveland Farrell at number 4. Jonathan Abrams been solid. He's been better, but not as good. Josh Jacobs was solid, but
yeah.
Even though I love him, I love my boy Josh Jacobs. He just, I don't know if maybe a first round pick was necessary. It's just they made John Gruden. Obviously, Henry Ruggs is not coming back anytime soon, so you wasted a pick there. Damon Arnett's not coming back anytime soon. You wasted a pick there.
They should have never traded Khalil Mack and Amari Cooper. All I'm saying.
Honestly, I kind of disagree with that because I think they would have left.
I do too.
I do too. I don't know. I don't really remember the Amari Cooper situation, but I remember the Khalil Mack.
Amari Cooper got significantly better when he went to Dallas.
I don't think either of them really wanted to be in Oakland at the time.
Yeah, they did.
But going back to Ben's take, kind of we went a little off topic there.
Yeah.
The Chiefs, I don't know. I disagree. I don't know if they have to re-sign anyone big.
Yeah, that's my biggest issue. I don't know they're.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't Chris Jones on the franchise tag this year?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
So I'm not for sure if I agree with Ben's take for next year, but over time, I think that's going to be what happens because Patrick Mahomes is making $1 quadrillion. You're not going to be able to pay guys like Tyreek Hill, who's this free agent next offseason, not this one coming up, but the next one. You're not going to be able to play guys like Travis Kelce that are going to want to get money while they still have time. So unless they sign for less, I think that it'll happen in a couple years, but probably not next season. I think they'll be fine for next season.
My final hot take is Trey Lance leads the 49ers next year to the NFC Championship.
I can see it.
I can see it, but I mean, it's a hot take for a reason. We have seen 2 games from Trey Lance. For all we know, he could be flat out terrible when he gets his real opportunity. But like I said earlier, they got to trade Jimmy G this offseason. They have to give Trey Lance the keys. If they don't, then it's terrible management, and everyone should be fired. I think it's that serious of a situation. You have to see what you have in your quarterback. I don't care if he's ready or not. It's really, I mean, you have 1 year, really. And I know Aaron Rodgers got 4. I know Drew Brees didn't have to go in right away, but this is a new era. It's not that era anymore where Aaron Rodgers had Brett Favre in front of him. Trey Lance doesn't have Brett Favre in front of him. He has Jimmy Garoppolo. So, like I said, if they give Trey Lance the keys, I could see it, but I'm not for sure if they're going to do it. They should, but like I said, I think he has the talent to do so. It's all about the accuracy with him, but he's really strong. He's a strong, powerful runner. He has a cannon of an arm, It's really about the accuracy and if you can fix the mechanics like Brian DeBall did for Josh Allen.
I feel like at next year at the most, Trey Lance could take him to like a wild card appearance, maybe even a divisional. I don't really see them going that deep in Lance's first year as a starter, but I could see him leading to like an early playoff exit, definitely.
Does anyone know like what their salary cap situation is?
I think they should be fine. I
They
think
can go
they've gotten
good.
rid of some.
If
They
can just
got
go
rid of
get
some
a
of the
couple
guys
more
that
people,
were.
I don't really know what do they really need? Probably like DBs.
Yeah, that maybe some.
Just Jason
Probably
Barrett
safety.
here.
Yeah, I was gonna say corners and safeties. I don't think like they're pretty stacked, honestly.
Maybe another receiver.
I don't even know about that.
They could
Honestly.
probably add into the interior of the line.
Jimmy Ward and Bosky Turner safety duo. They're good at safety. It's just corners their main like concern, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, their Niners are gonna be pretty scary too next season, which I hate to admit as well. It's like all the teams I don't like are gonna be pretty good next season.
Especially for Raheem Mostert stays healthy. He's a talent in the backfield.
Yeah.
Especially in Madden, but Raheem Mostert's All right, Jackson.
Yeah, boys, my computer's dying out. My computer's dying out, so I'm gonna have to hop off. But it was definitely a pleasure being on today. I'll see you guys later.
All right, see you, Ben.
All right. For me, first one's pretty biased. Hunter Renfro is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL.
I like it. Renfro, unfortunately, had the game-winning touchdown against Alabama 2016, which controversial or not.
I like Ben.
Hunter Renfro has his route running has been so good. He's a top 10 to 15 route runner in the NFL, and he's already the most underrated in my opinion. I don't think that's a hot take, to be honest. I think people see the talent. Maybe he doesn't get the recognition he deserves, but people see the talent. And as long as he can put together some good seasons to go along with the talent, you see he's going to be a borderline top 25 to 30 receiver, maybe getting that top 20 range. He's really good.
I really think he's like top 25 right now, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's around that area.
The problem with Renfro is a lot of people look at him as just like a third down and like red zone receiver, but he had over 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah, he's proven he can handle workloads of wide receiver one. Do I think he's necessarily maybe a top tier wide receiver one? No, he's a top tier wide receiver two or like a middle of the pack tier wide receiver one. But he's really good, and I think he's already one of the most underrated players in the NFL as a whole.
Yeah.
Hunter Renfro is supremely underrated, man. Like he reminds me of like a better Braxton Berrios. Like that he just doesn't get
Braxton Berrios.
Berrios is good though.
Berrios is a W. And I remember I had a Miami Dynasty like a long time ago, and Berrios was a dog. He was insane.
He can do it all. He can rush, he can receive, he can catch. I mean, like he does it all. He should have been a Pro Bowl returner, honestly.
I agreed with you when you said that.
But yeah, Hunter Renfro is supremely underrated. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, kind of flipping the script on the second take. It's Trayvon Diggs is the most overrated corner in the NFL.
I have a lot to say about this.
100%.
So people bring this up to me, and I have two takes about this. I do agree that Trayvon Diggs is overrated in the media, but when you think about, yes, he did give up 1,000 yards, but you think about what the value of interceptions does bring. Yes, he's going to give up the yards. He's a boom or bust corner. That's the perfect way to describe him. People describe him as the Jameis Winston of corners. That's not always bad, but is he overrated? I think so. He had a really good season this year despite giving up 1,000 yards. 11 interceptions is insane when you think about it. And it's going to be the same talk people had with Xavier Howard. Xavier Howard's called overrated because maybe he gave up a lot of yards. but he had 10 interceptions. I mean, you're getting the ball back to your offense 11 times. That's important. Now people are putting him over guys like AJ Terrell, and I don't think that's right. That's where you see him as overrated. AJ Terrell is a top 5 corner in the league already. So yeah, I think there's points to where he's overrated, but there's points to where he's not overrated. Like his skill set is valuable, but in the media, he's overrated, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'll put it with him, there's 2 points I'll make. It's the one, it might have been that Giants game. I think he had a pick 6, and then the next play, it's a touchdown.
Patriots game.
It was a Patriots game.
Patriots game. He, there's a lot of value to interceptions, but there's way more value to a touchdown going to the other team. Like, if he's laying up all these yards, I don't think that's normal to allow 1,000 yards as one corner. I'm not sure if that's really normal. It's super impressive for a receiver to get 1,000 yards and then just to let up 1,000. I think that's insane.
The thing about Trayvon Diggs is his ball skills are so good. He's a former receiver. He was a converted receiver to corner at Alabama. And in my 2020 takes were terrible, but I did have Trayvon Diggs as one of the most overrated prospects. And he has kind of proven me wrong at some aspects. Yes, he's been overrated by the media, but if you actually take a look at his skill set, he's actually very good. And some of these yards that he's given up, they're going to go against him, but some aren't his fault. There's been cases against, I think that one against the Patriots, I don't know. I just know there's been cases to where he got stuck in a situation where they give him that he gave the yards, but it wasn't really his fault. So
yeah,
that's all I'd say.
The other point I was going to make about him, which this might not be the smartest take, but there's a reason why he has so many interceptions. That's because they target his way. He has great ball skills. That's why he gets the picks. But there's a reason why, like a guy like Jalen Ramsey doesn't have as many interceptions as Diggs. They don't throw it his way. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the thing. He baits defenders, and that's going to be a boom or bust. He baits quarterbacks and the throwing towards them, and that's going to be a boom or bust. You're either going to give up the yards or you're going to make the quarterback pay for it. He also has good deflection rates, so right. I think there is value to him, and he's in the top echelon of corners, even with giving up 1,000 yards. I think he definitely he's been overrated by the media, but
right.
He's not garbage corner. He's really good.
I think he's good. I think he's good, but I don't think he's elite.
He's like in the top 10 range, like maybe like bottom tier top 10, top of the top 15.
I'd say like 8 to 10 range.
Yeah. His skill set's so valuable, still really valuable, and I think that he definitely, and he also has a lot of promise. I mean, with the speed he has, ball skills, if you can develop him a little bit more, could be a really, really good corner.
Yeah, honestly, like, this is only his second year, right?
Yes, he was drafted second round 2020.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. He is going to be fine. But I think this season he is just extremely overrated. And that's not to hate on him either. I'm a big Trayvon Diggs fan, but I just like when I was like seeing all like the graphics and all like the video edits and like all the media praise, I'm just like, look at all this, right? And I'm also about stats and everything. That's where I'm kind of like, I don't really want to even like talk too much about the interceptions. Like, just look at him as a corner as a full, watch the film. Like, he is kind of overrated, but at the same time, next year he could be absolute lockdown.
Yeah, I'm a big not stats guy. That's why I gave Jaylen Waddle A+, is because stats aren't everything to me. I watched Jaylen Waddle play, and he was the best player on that offense, and it wasn't particularly close. So, yeah, Trayvon Diggs, he makes himself a boom or bust corner by baiting quarterbacks and throwing to him, and that's the reason they do throw to him. But, yeah, I mean, he was overrated by the media, like the NFL. Oh, Trayvon Diggs intercepted this bio. Like, bro, shut up. But right. And I don't think he should have been. So he could have been in the Pro Bowl, and I would have been fine with it. But the fact AJ Terrell was not in the Pro Bowl made me mad. AJ Terrell was a top 5 corner, and like Trayvon Diggs, I had AJ Terrell as one of my most overrated players. I think I gave whoops. I think I gave AJ Terrell a C- when it came to the 2020 draft, and my 2020 draft takes were particularly bad. So we don't talk about that era of football knowledge, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, oh God, I was gonna say. Basically how we talked about the other day. The Pro Bowl is a popularity contest.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt.
I don't know why Irvin was trying to tell us it wasn't. I was like, bro, yes, it is. That's why Trayvon Diggs is over AJ Terrell. That's why
Just
Lamar
saying that
Jackson's
there's
over
5
Joe
Cardinals
Burrow.
in the Pro Bowl. That's all. That's the only
Joe
reason.
Burrow and Josh Allen should have been over Lamar Jackson. He was trying to tell me that Lamar was better because he won an MVP. Like, no, the Pro Bowl is based off that year alone. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past.
Yeah, no, he was tripping.
Jets players never get into the Pro Bowl simply because they aren't popular. No matter how.
Barrios should have been a Pro Bowler, no doubt.
Quinn Williams should have been a Pro Bowler. He had an insane year.
Yeah, that's facts, actually.
Quinn Williams, he's not very liked by PFF, by the way. I was watching a podcast. He's not very liked by PFF. He didn't have a very good grade.
That grade not reflect him on the field at all.
Yeah, no. He's a really good player. He's a dominant player, especially against the Dolphins. He was chilling in that backfield. I mean, he's not really going against the best competition. The only confident offensive lineman we have was Robert Hunt. So the GOAT, Robert Hunt, catching the ball, scoring a touchdown against the Ravens.
That should have counted.
It should have counted. Fuck the ref.
Okay. My last take. I think this is the most interesting one, so I saved it for last. And I have one word underlined so we get to the point here. That Joe Burrow will be more successful than Justin Herbert.
I agree.
I don't know about. I think Herbert has a better set of talents in his toolbox, but I think Burrow's how do I say this? I would rather have Burrow still. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's kind of biased, and I've liked Burrow since college, but I think the Bengals are going to be better in the long run. I think Burrow is going to end up being known as the better quarterback. There's a reason why he was the first pick. I think Burrow will end up having more rings than Herbert, and he's just going to have better stats overall.
Yeah, the thing about Burrow versus Herbert, Burrow might not have the stellar arm that Herbert has, but the thing that Burrow brings is something you cannot teach, and that's the moxie. That's the attitude he plays with. And not only does he's outspoken with it, he goes out and proves it every day. And Burrow this is going to be an NBA to NFL comparison, but Burrow reminds me a lot of John Morant. He goes out there and his teammates talk about him like he is the best quarterback. And what does he do? He goes out there and proves it. I remember watching ESPN a little video a couple of days ago. Desmond Bane's talking about how John Morant's the best point guard in the league. And while you might not believe that, John Morant was like, I'm not going to say too much. All I'm going to do is go prove my teammates right. That's what Joe Burrow does. He goes out there and proves them right. Now he didn't have a great year last year, but also there wasn't enough talent on that team last year. Jamar Chase was such a game changer, and that chemistry that he had with Burrow. I didn't like Burrow for one game, and that was the game he played against Alabama. Other than that, I love Burrow though. Burrow's his attitude, his everything he brings to the game. It's very Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers-esque. It's very enlightening to see a quarterback out there who has a strong personality that doesn't suck like Baker Mayfield. He's everything that the Browns wanted Baker Mayfield to be. And I think that he's gonna have more team success than Herbert. But the thing about Herbert is he has a rocket of an arm. He's accurate with the ball. He's smart. And I think that both quarterbacks are going to be really good top 5 quarterbacks for years to come. And I think they both have top 1 potential. But as of Burrow being more having better stats, having more success, I think that's right along the lines. I still think Herbert might be the better talent, but there's difference between better quarterback and better talent. There's a lot of guys that are talented that never pan out to be good quarterbacks. And then there's guys that are good quarterbacks, that great quarterbacks that don't necessarily have the most talent. Like a guy like Tom Brady. He's known as the greatest quarterback of all time. Does he have the best arm? No.
Right.
But he's accurate with the ball. He's smart like Burrow. And everyone's getting on this Brady Burrow train now. And I think you're starting to see it. I think you see the attitude he has. I think he's infectious with the way he talks about his teammates. Yeah, the fucking Jamar Chase is down there somewhere. You see it. The team chemistry they have. They love Joe Burrow, and it's gonna lead to more success. They won the AFC North in the midst of a rebuild. They're still rebuilding. It's not like they've been. I mean, they've been bad, but it's not like they've been. They got the first pick last year, and they got the fifth pick. Or they got the first pick 2 years ago, and the fifth pick last year. They're still rebuilding. They still have to rebuild that whole offensive line, except for a guy like Jonah Williams. They made good free agency signings in Awuzie and Hendrickson. So I think Burrow, the sky's the limit for the kid just based off how he brings himself. And I think that's all I can really say. I don't know who's going to be the most successful. I think Burrow has a better chance just off his team success alone. But Herbert definitely is a talent. He's already a top 6, 7, and mostly top 5 quarterback. It just depends on where you have him. So.
Right. Jay, got anything to say about that? We want to go into your picks.
I completely agree with that take. Like, Burrow has all the weapons around him to have a completely successful career. I just feel like, yeah, he's gonna have more success in Cincinnati. Let's be honest, the Chargers are never going to a Super Bowl in their entire franchise history. Like, that streak's going to continue. I could definitely see Burrow winning a ring or two in Cincy, so I agree with that. The one take I have is I believe Zach Wilson can develop into like a top 12 quarterback in the league. What do you guys feel about that?
I
mentioned that earlier. He's getting better. That's the thing. He's getting better. You see a guy like I said when we were going over the rookies. You see a guy like Trevor Lawrence. He doesn't really seem like he's gotten better, and I mean his situation is not as good. But Zach Wilson's situation, like people were so when the Jets got the number 2 pick and Jags got the number 1, everyone was like, "Oh, Trevor Lawrence has a sigh of relief." The Jets are having fun out there. Does Trevor Lawrence look like he's having fun? No. So there's a reason. Zach Wilson brings everything to the table. He has a good arm. He's getting better more accurate with the ball. He's making these talented quarterback throws that you see, and you're just like, wow. So yeah, I think he has potential. I think he has like a Derek Carr type potential. I really like that comparison. I mean, I think he's more mobile than Carr. He's more platform, but like that arm strength is kind of the same as Carr. And I think he has that potential to be that guy. The Jets just have to build around him, and they're already doing a great job with a guy like Elijah Moore. Corey Davis has been good when he was healthy. Jamison Crowder, not much to say about, but offensive line, Elijah Vera Tucker, Mekhi Becton, maybe you grab a Ike Ekwonu, an Evan Neal, you go and get a receiver, a Jamison Williams, you go and get defense. The Jets are in a good situation, in my opinion, and I think Zach Wilson's at the forefront of that.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson, he's another guy kind of like Mack Jones I have a lot of respect for. But again, I was like, I didn't blame the Jets for picking him at 2, but I was just like, he's not going to be that good. At the start, I was like, okay, I was right. Lately, though, he has played with some swagger. He's shown it. He's improved. He really could, maybe even next year, if the Jets like really have a good offseason, he could already establish himself as a top, I'll say 16 quarterback. I think he will definitely get into the top 15, top 12 radius. Like, he is a really good quarterback, in my opinion. I think next season will prove a lot, though.
Yeah, he has a lot to prove. He has to prove that these last few games weren't a fluke. he has to prove that he can still get better. He has to prove that he can make better decisions. But what you're seeing is that he is getting better, and that's what you want to see from a quarterback. And you can't say the same about a guy like Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, because I'm not for sure if they really got better over the season. But Zach Wilson definitely did, and he played phenomenal in that Bucs game. And he's the reason they were in it. Him and Barrios.
Barrios, the man.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's the only take I got.
All right. We'll move into our best. I can't talk. The biggest disappointment and the biggest surprise. I think most of us will have around the same idea. So I went with biggest surprise. I'm going to go with the Bengals and how good that offense was. I didn't, even though Burrow was the most sacked quarterback, the offensive line still played good. And obviously, we talked about Jamar Chase a bunch. Jamar Chase has been phenomenal. Tyler Boyd is exactly in the role he needs to be. T. Higgins, even though I wasn't high on him coming out of the draft, he has been phenomenal. We don't talk about my 2021 or 2020 draft takes. They were all particularly bad. But but you just see this offense. It's been so good, and it's rubbing off on the whole team. And I think that's just my biggest surprise of the year. And my biggest disappointment is going to come back home. The Dolphins taking a step back. We were supposed to take a step forward, and injuries had a big part in that. But coaching just at some games were just not good. And Tua getting hurt obviously didn't help. But we lost games we shouldn't have due to coaching, due to some mistakes by Tua, due to the offensive line being terrible. But the Dolphins took a huge step back, in my opinion, even if it doesn't show. And even though they went on that big Mickey Mouse, 7 games streak, they couldn't do it when it mattered the most, so it really didn't matter. Hopefully they play a good game against the Patriots, but the Dolphins took a huge step back, and that's the biggest disappointment, in my opinion, because I was expecting them to be a playoff team.
Are you just we're doing both of them right now?
Yeah. Just do your biggest surprise, and then you do your biggest disappointment.
Okay, so I have one team for surprises and then 2 players. The team being the Colts. Personally, I might have just been hated on them. Maybe they were already expected to be this good. I was never huge on Jonathan Taylor, but he's also a guy I never really paid too much attention to. He has been phenomenal this year. Carson Wentz is a guy I hate on a lot. I don't really know how he's been doing this season, but the team has been successful. The defense looks really nice. I almost called him Micah Parsons, but Pittman, he's been really good. And then as far as the players, I got Mack Jones and Jamar Chase. Both those players, I didn't really hate on Jamar Chase. I'm a big fan of Alabama receivers. So I was very, very high on Devonta Smith, and I was like decently high on Waddle. Jamar Chase was kind of just a guy I was just like, okay, he's good. He's now one of my favorite receivers in the league. And then Mack Jones, I just have to say sorry because I hated on that fool so much.
Yeah, you were not on the Mack Jones train. I tried to convince you that he was going to be a first-round quarterback, but he might not have the highest ceiling. But y'all kind of didn't want to listen to me, so.
Yeah.
but the good thing is I was right about these receivers. Even though Jamar Chase has outplayed Jalen Waddle, I think having Waddle at 3 and Chase at 4 and then Smith at 6 was not a bad idea. So I think my 2021 draft takes aren't as bad as my 2021 or my 2020 draft takes were. But yeah, I agree with your with both of them. The Colts started off the year shaky, and I definitely knew that because my roommate is a Colts fan up at college, and so he was like, so when they beat the Dolphins, it looked like they really took a step forward. I mean, everyone beats the Dolphins, so it really doesn't matter. But they started taking a step, and they kept on playing within themselves. Carson Wentz became better. I'm still not for sure on how good Carson Wentz is, but he's definitely good for that offense. And a guy like Michael Pittman's taking a step up to be a top 25, 30 receiver. And then you have Jonathan Taylor, who's been so good. He's been the best running back in the league this year. He's been phenomenal. You have Darius Leonard. That whole defense has played phenomenal, and that's why they're in the spot they're in, with most likely a matchup against Cincinnati next week. Playoffs start next week, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
next
Okay.
week.
I didn't know if they had a week in between that. So yeah, most likely a matchup against Cincinnati, and that's where I'm excited for that game.
It's gonna be a really good game. They're pretty even, honestly, when you really look at it. I think Bengals
I
will
know
have edge.
I know you're a Raiders fan, but I kind of hope the Chargers win, just for the simple fact that I really like the matchups that are already set with the Patriots and Bills, the Chiefs and Chargers, and the Bengals and Colts. I think those are all phenomenal matchups.
Yeah, I
It
feel
would make for a good playoff run. Even though I do like the Raiders, I think that what they've done this season has been nothing short of fantastic, considering everything they've gone through. Even now with Nate Hobbs, I mean, not making the best decisions. I do think that the Raiders definitely, if they make it, they deserve it. I do want the Chargers to win, but that's just kind of me being a fan of a team that's not in the playoffs, just hoping for the best matchups.
My biggest surprise, undoubtedly, Jonathan Taylor. I would have never expected him to run for 1,700 yards, and just the sheer dominance he has shown on the field this year. It's been insane what he's done all year. And my biggest disappointment, this is a Jets player, Denzel Mims.
No.
Oh,
we can't hear it. Not the Denzel Mims biggest fan ever.
I had
what was it, March?
He has just been god awful dog shit, man. I'm
fancy this year?
Huh?
You're not gonna pick him in fancy next year?
No.
Yeah, bro. Denzel Mims number one pick next year. Let's go.
I'm taking him.
No, but I do want to talk about Jonathan Taylor, and like I said, my 2020 draft picks were notoriously bad, and I talked about the overrated prospects. You want to know the guys I had in that? I had Justin Herbert in there. Yeah. I had Jonathan Taylor in there. Yeah. AJ Terrell and Trayvon Diggs were honorable mentions in there. It's just all bad. It's terrible. Jonathan Taylor has been nothing short of phenomenal. He's already a top 5 back in the league, and he was the best back in football. And he's going to be very high in fantasy football rankings going in next year. Definitely. He has a super high ceiling with his speed, his power, and everything. We're watching a superstar in front of our eyes, and him and Derrick Henry are going to be the best backs in football, in my opinion, for the seasons to come. I mean, it's going to be him, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb. Sorry, I can't disrespect Mr. Chubb like that. I think them three are just kind of separating themselves. I mean, when Derrick Henry comes back, obviously, Dalvin Cook's getting in that range, but those three are just best backs in football, in my opinion.
Jonathan Taylor honestly reminds me of like a faster Frank Gore. It's like with the power he has.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Y'all have any final thoughts?
Actually, I saw my disappointments. Actually,
What?
I didn't get into it. I have 3. I'll try to make it quick.
My bad.
No, you straight. Okay, 2 teams and then basically 3 players, but I'll go to the teams first. The Seahawks and the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
I don't know as much to say about it. I had the Seahawks last in division, but I didn't think they were going to be this bad. And then the Browns, I mean, the whole thing of Odell is just ridiculous. Baker is terrible. I'm sorry, Ben, if you're watching this. The Browns are just sad. Now, it is tough, too, because they did have, like, the whole COVID thing. We did not deserve to beat them in the Raiders-Browns game. And then as far as we did not deserve to win that game. But as far as players, I have every rookie quarterback besides Mack Jones.
And Davis Mills. Davis Mills was actually pretty good.
I didn't pay attention to him.
You didn't really pay attention. Yeah.
No.
I do want to talk
the main 3. Fields, Wilson, and Lawrence. All of them have shown flashes, but all of them, and Lance too, I guess. Like, it's, everyone kind of expected more. It was like supposed to be like this elite quarterback class. We have not seen much. So I'll put them in.
I want to talk about the Browns for a second. Earlier today, I was in the Browns bench session. It was actually really fun. Even being a Dolphins fan, they were overwhelmingly like accepting, and they listened to me a lot. I was talking a lot in that chat, and I really like Browns fans. Browns fans are really good.
Right.
And Baker just disappointed. And what they were talking about is like, if you're moving on from Baker, who are you gonna find? And it's like the sad thing about Browns fans is they're willing to they're maybe not take a guy that maybe not as talented, but they trust more because Baker is just they feel as a cancer to their team. It's weird. And I was talking about Tua and Waddle, how they like light up a room whenever you see them in interviews, and obviously make the locker room better. And they're like, that's a dream as a Browns fan to have that. And it's just sad hearing that they think that their quarterback is so much that much of a like distraction, I guess, is that it's kind of sad. I mean, they've been so underwhelming. It's not even funny. Most people are picking them to go to the Super Bowl, and they're not even gonna make the playoffs. So, yeah. Final thoughts. This was a fun first episode.
Oh yeah.
Me and Jacob's mock draft will drop after this. We'll be doing that probably every 2 weeks, probably maybe 3 weeks. It'll probably come more in later in the draft season. I'll have prospect evaluations out on this channel. But yeah, podcast. We have 2 different groups. This group, the greatest group of all time. We're missing. Well, Ben was here for a little bit, but we're also missing Xander. Xander's a treat. If y'all see. But yeah, check out both groups.
Walmart
the other group should be dropping on Saturday, I believe. So yeah, this was fun though. It was fun. I hope we can take this far, and I've had fun with you guys. So that's gonna be it for this episode. Next.